Matt, I knew you had fun at the Giants game yesterday. We were kind of talking about that. Did you have fun watching a preseason football game with your team against
Well,
my team?
it was both our teams, which is actually kind of cool. Drake May did not play that yesterday, unfortunately, which kind of sucked because I know you wanted to see them play Drake May, but it was Brandon Woodbridge the rest of the way, and it kind of went as expected. 42-10 Giant preseason win. But like we've said before, preseason doesn't really mean much, but it's always a good sign to see your team win.
Well, I mean, before we talk about our week one picks, we just found out today that Brian Robinson is going to be a 49er, and I think the Commanders, I felt like that they wanted to go in a different direction at running back, which is okay.
Yeah, and one thing that we mentioned before we came on was this guy, Bill Krosky-Merritt, has really made headlines in the preseason for how fast he is and how efficient he is offensively. So I guess dealing with Brian Robinson was okay, especially if the Commanders knew they had something in line. And Bill Krosky-Merritt, I think, is going to be someone that a lot of Commander fans are going to be keeping an eye on in the backfield.
Well, while we talk about our week one picks, there are some headlines to be talking about with starting quarterbacks. Like the Colts are going with Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback in week one. I mean, we're going to dive deep into that. And then we'll talk about the Cleveland Browns going with Joe Flacco. Oh, my God. Like, why do you choose him over these young guns? That is going to be something we're going to talk about here. And there's something we also have to add here. Is Jalen Milroe going to beat out Sam Darnold for the starting quarterback job in Seattle?
Tough one.
Because it says Milroe is planning to start and play the entire series, the series finale, preseason finale against Green Bay, which is telling that it looks like Sam Darnold might not be the starting quarterback in Seattle.
See, I don't believe that. And the reason why I don't believe that is because Sam Darnold, the Seahawks got Darnold for that 3-year contract. And Jalen Milroe, I know you love the guy. I understand that. But they typically don't play their starting QBs in the final preseason game because they want to save them for the regular season, for the opening day of the regular season. It was kind of like last night. Drake May didn't play at all. Why? Because they want to save him for week one. And the same can kind of be said for the Giants. They didn't play Russell Wilson at all. Why? Because they want to save him for week one against the Commanders. So, to me, I know Jalen Milroe has done well this preseason with the limited time he's got, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the starter.
So you're saying that Darnold might not start with the Seahawks?
No, I think Darnold does start, but I think Milroe's going to spend some time on the bench, and maybe if Darnold's inefficient, then you could see him, but I don't think right away.
Well, anyways, now we're going to talk about our week one picks, and then we'll talk about based on the spread here. Our first game we're going to talk about here is the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champion, hosting Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, before we make our picks here, Philadelphia Eagles are right now the clear favorite to win they're one of the favorites to win the NFC East. I mean, Washington is right on their heels. They're going to give them their money's worth. But for the Cowboys, they're not in a really good place heading into this season opener with Philly, with all the Micah Parsons drama and all the Cowboy fans already wanting Jerry Jones to not have full control of this team and all that. But do you think that Jerry Jones is already losing his cool before the season starts?
Well, it's funny because Jerry Jones had a recent interview with Stephen A. Smith, and Jerry Jones said something that makes you lose brain cells. He said, and I quote, "Why would I let Micah Parsons' agent talk to me about a contract?" Now, why is this bad? Because we're in an age of the NFL now where the agents of a player have to negotiate with the owner or general manager to come to a long-term deal. Jerry Jones does not believe that at this point. For someone who's been in the NFL for over 30 years as Cowboys owner, and he's not letting his top defensive player's agent talk to him. And that's just making things out of control. And honestly, Jerry Jones can do only one of two things: trade him away, or swallow his pride and actually pay Micah Parsons, who deserves every penny he gets.
Well, Jerry Jones always says head-scratching stuff that fans get very confused about. That's why I don't really believe in the Cowboys' identity. I don't believe in their direction. I mean, Dak Prescott is a leader in their locker room. I know the Jones family really loves Dak Prescott, like love him, and are totally stuck to him. But Dak Prescott in big games chokes.
No, you're right. And the thing with Dak is that, like, he's not consistent. He's had years where he's been really solid, and he's had years where he's just fallen off a cliff. And the Cowboys have not been to a conference championship game in 30 years for a reason, and it's partially because of bad quarterback play.
Actually, in my Madden League, the Cowboys made the NFC Championship game in my Madden League, but lost.
Yeah, but reality is a different story.
All right. But anyways, here now, in this game, who I like to win this game, I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles, but I'm going to say I'm going to be a little harsh here because I don't really believe the Cowboys heading into this game. I think it's going to be over by the second half. I think the first half, the Eagles are going to put up a lot of points on the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense is going to be totally exposed to Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in that high-flying offense. I think the Philadelphia Eagles come away with like a 49-0 victory, but don't be surprised if the Eagles put up 50 points in that game.
Whoa. All right, well, the Eagles are going to hang their championship banner up on Thursday Night Football, and it is against the Cowboys, one of their hated rivals. The Eagles are a 7-point favorite here. I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be a blowout like that bad, but
I'm saying it because it's happened before to the Cowboys in prime time that they've gotten blown out against a team like that.
It has. But I think if you're the visiting team going into a home team stadium to put up an upset to begin the season, I know the Cowboys are in locker room drama and toxic right now, but I don't think it's enough. I think I have the Eagles winning 45-24. So I have them winning by 21.
Oh, that might be very reasonable, but the reason why I'm a little harsh on the Cowboys in this game is because, look, you can't play well against good teams. That's the Cowboys for you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And with the Commanders up and coming, the Cowboys are definitely going to get exposed by them after one of their wins came from that special teams blunder.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's going to be a different story when the Commanders and Cowboys play each other.
Yeah, Washington, with the moves they made, like putting in Bill Krosky as their starting running back, I'm curious how that's going to work. But Washington, like you said, is up and coming. I can only sense good things coming for them this year.
Well, we go to Brazil as the runner-up, Super Bowl runner-up, and the Kansas City Chiefs were denied of a three-peat.
Yep.
Against the Jim Harbaugh-led LA Chargers. I mean, you gotta love this match, this AFC West showdown in Brazil. I mean, the Chargers had a great year last year, a turnaround season under Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is madly in love with Justin Herbert. Like, he loves the guy. He's like his biggest fan. And for the Chiefs, it's about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and Travis Kelce and trying for the Chiefs to get back to the Super Bowl after they were denied of a three-peat. Go ahead.
Well, the Chargers, the Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert thing, it's a match made in heaven. I mean, that's something that Jim Harbaugh has wanted for a long time. He said it when he was at the University of Michigan, and he's getting what he wanted. So, obviously good for him. But the reason why this is an enticing matchup for Brazil is because it's always a good show when the Chiefs and Chargers face each other. Chargers usually come up on the short end of the stick, but they always put up a fight. And that's what's enticing here.
I think it's going to be a fantastic week one game down in Brazil, which everybody I think is looking forward to. I'm going to pull off I'm going to pick the Chargers in an upset victory just because I think that Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes are going to battle it out, but I think Cameron Dick is going to kick a game-winning field goal.
Cameron Dicker, one of my favorite names ever. But
no, sorry, I said Cameron Dicker.
Cameron Dicker, yeah. Cameron Dicker. the Chargers have come so short on so many times they face the Chiefs. They're bound to win one. They're bound to win one. So I'm going to take them here as well. The Chiefs are a 3-point favorite, and also this game is on YouTube TV.
Yeah, you're picking the Chargers in an upset like I am.
Yes.
Well, now we talk about our favorite teams that are playing at the same time. First up, we'll talk about the New England Patriots taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. This is the start of a new era. Mike Vrabel is now the new head coach of the New England Patriots. We've talked about how of an impact he's going to turn around the Patriots. He was a great choice to be the head coach of the New England Patriots to take over for Gerard Mayo. Mike Vrabel's a culture changer. He did a great job in Tennessee when he took them to the playoffs and guided them to a division title. And now he's back to the team that he's once played for and once won Super Bowls with. Now to be working with Robert Kraft, I think both those guys will be on the same page. To start the Mike Vrabel era, I'm picking New England to win. I think it's going to be 38-7 over the Raiders.
I'll say 31-10. I think it's more reasonable there. I think that the Raiders are an okay team on paper, especially with Ashton Jeanty, but I just think that New England's defense has significantly improved. Their coaching morale has significantly got better. I think that the Patriots are going to win this one easily, 31-10.
And for the Raiders, it's also the Pete Carroll era.
That's right. That's right.
And he's also a former Patriots head coach. And I'm like, you know what? I think Mike Vrabel's going to beat him.
I think so, too.
Well, now we talk about the New York Giants taking on the Washington Commanders in Landover, Maryland. I mean, Russell Wilson starting. I mean, Jackson Dart is probably the backup. And for Washington, this is about them taking a step forward, which I expect them to. I mean, you got Debo, Samuel, Terry McLaurin with Jaden Daniels. That is a good offense for you right there. I'm picking Washington to win this game pretty easily, but I'm not going to say the score in this
one. Washington, they're still waiting on Terry McLaurin to get some type of contract extension. They're still waiting on him, but I think that'll get done. The Giants, I want to see Russell Wilson put up a competitive game. I'll say the Giants lose this one, but I think they'll lose by 10.
Oh, you're saying that the Giants might put up a little bit of a fight in this game?
Yeah, because the way they've played in preseason gives me hope, but I think that's going to come crashing down with a 10-point loss.
Well, we go to the Battle of Ohio. Oh, boy. Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, who basically led them to a 3-1 record down the stretch in 23 and obviously to a playoff appearance. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are coming in to Cleveland and trying to flip the script in their early season struggles. I'm going to pick the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. I just think they're the better team over Cleveland. You have two of your highest paid receivers in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins out there to help this offense get to where it needs to go. But my only concern about the Cincinnati Bengals is their defense.
And they also haven't paid Trey Hendrickson yet, which is kind of concerning. I got to go with the Bengals to win. I think it's going to be unbalanced. I think they're probably going to give up 20 points to the Browns, which is still laughable. But I think the Browns win 34-20. I think the Bengals win 34-20, excuse me.
Oh, so you're saying that the Bengals will give up 20 points to Cleveland in their first game of the regular season? That might be laughable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next up, we talk about an NFC South rival that could reach new heights. Michael Penix Jr. makes his first career NFL start, and this is his first full year being the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm very excited about that because this is a young team that is up and coming. You got playmakers around him like Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. This Falcons team, offensively, you shouldn't worry about them, but I think defensively is still a little bit of a concern. And for Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and that high-flying offense and that solid defense of Todd Bowles, they're looking to make a statement here. But I like the Falcons at home. I want to see Michael Penix Jr. get a win in week one because I just think the Atlanta Falcons are going to find a way to win this game, but I feel like both defenses are going to have a very hard time.
I'm going to go opposite on you. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay, they fly high against their division opponents. They just love playing against their division, and their division is going to be very bad on paper this year. Although Carolina might improve this year, Atlanta, I don't know what I'm going to get from them. And I think that the Buccaneers are going to be very confident. They'll win the division easily, and I think they'll make the playoffs. But to start off with this game, one thing I want to say is Mike Evans, if he has 1,000 yards receiving this year, he'll break Jerry Rice's consecutive record for most seasons with 1,000 yards, which I think is incredible.
I mean, he's the ageless wonder of NFL wide receivers. That's the thing about Mike Evans. But for the Falcons, what I wanted to touch on with you is that I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to be fun offensively, but I just don't think their defense is good enough.
Yeah, the Falcons' defense is a work in progress for sure.
But Atlanta, you think Atlanta might be better than like New Orleans or Carolina? Is that what you're saying?
Well, easily, yeah. Just not better than Tampa Bay.
Well, we stay in the NFC South for a little bit. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals and the New Orleans Saints going at it. Oh, man, this is probably going to get ugly early. That's what I'm thinking here. Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon are going to find a way to come into the Big Easy and into the Superdome to beat the Saints. I really think that Arizona is going to be a team that everybody is going to sleep on, but they're going to be like, oh, wow, they're so much fun to watch offensively with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. and James Conner and Trey McBride. Their defense just got Calais Campbell back, who I think is going to be a very good influence on this young Arizona defense. I like the Cardinals in this one.
I think Cardinals win easily, but you also got to mention Calais Campbell coming back, but they also got Josh Sweat in free agency as well. Arizona's defense can be really, really good, and I think that the Saints are just in a pit of misery right now.
You talk about former Eagle coaches going at it. Kellen Moore versus Jonathan Gannon. I like Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, that's right.
I like Jonathan Gannon to win this game because I just think that the Arizona Cardinals have built a better product on the field since Jonathan Gannon took over as head coach. And I say why? It's because the Kyler Murray-Cliff Kingsbury marriage wasn't going to last long.
No, it didn't.
I just think Kyler Murray is a better player under Gannon.
Yeah, and the team just thrives around Jonathan Gannon better than it does around Cliff Kingsbury. I think Cliff Kingsbury, for what it's worth, was a good offensive mind, but just not worthy enough to be a head coach.
Well, the next game we got to talk about here is let's go to the Dolphins and Colts game. This is going to be Daniel Jones' start, and this is the downfall of Anthony Richardson. And for the Dolphins, they're in the most pressure to win and for pressure for Tua to stay healthy. But I'm going to pick my guy Tua and the Dolphins to come into Lucas Oil Stadium to beat the Indianapolis Colts. If their defense can somehow find a way to be better this season, the Dolphins might make the playoffs.
The Dolphins should make the playoffs, and if they don't, then I think some jobs some people might get fired in Miami. But as far as this week's matchup goes, I think Miami wins easily. I think even though it's surreal seeing Daniel Jones in a Colts uniform starting an NFL game, I just don't think the Colts are good enough against this team.
I mean, they're not. I mean, they still have a good defense. They got a good offensive line.
And they still have Jonathan Taylor.
They still have Jonathan Taylor. This is a team that, that I think, no one should really count on.
Yeah, but the problem with the Colts is that Anthony Richardson completely fell out.
He fell out of his shell. I'll tell you that.
He completely faltered big time. I don't know what's next for him if he doesn't come back into the starting lineup. I guarantee you someone is skeptical about taking him onto their team because I just don't know how good or efficient or how mentally prepared Anthony Richardson is.
We talked about him maybe being a reclamation project if he's a Pittsburgh Steeler by the time Aaron Rodgers retires.
Yeah, that's true.
But next up, we're going to go to Duval. I mean, Liam Cohen makes his Jaguars debut against the Carolina Panthers. I mean, the Panthers should be much improved this year in year 3 of Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is their future. I think Dave Tepper believes that. I know Dev Canales believes that. I believe that in Bryce Young. And I am pretty optimistic about Carolina heading into this season. But with Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence has weapons now with Brian Robinson Jr., uh, Travis Etienne. You also talk about the two-way star and Travis Hunter, who can play both offense and defense. He is that dude that's going to play both ways, and he's going to change the game offensively.
Yep.
I want to pick I am pretty high on Jacksonville winning this game just because I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna have a resurgent season, which I have a pretty good feeling about.
This was actually a tough one for me to call because I feel like the way the Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers finished the season last year, it gives you hope that maybe this year they can maybe flip a switch early. But alas, I think it's Jacksonville's game here. I think that it'll be a field goal game. I think that even though the Panthers will put up a good spunk of offense, I think that the Jaguars win by 3.
Oh, absolutely. I think, Jacksonville should be a much better team this year. I think Carolina is going to be much improved. I mean, it gives me optimism that I think Bryce Young, after the slow start he had in week 2, it gives me optimism that he's going to show Panther fans why he is their franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Young, like I said, I think he'll turn things up a notch. I don't think the Panthers will make the playoffs, but I think things will start to improve.
Well, the last game of our 10 a.m. slate here that must be an awkward game that we're going to talk about. Aaron Rodgers returns, plays against the New York Jets. He's kind of like following the Brett Favre path. Like he played his almost entire career in Green Bay, then he played with the Jets, then he went to Minnesota. Now Aaron Rodgers played his entire career with the Packers, then he went to the Jets, and now he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. This has got to be one of the most awkward storylines of this game.
Well, definitely awkward to say the least. You're crossing. You play your last season team, and also I know it's Aaron Rodgers' last year. It's in MetLife, so this is going to be very, very awkward. I'll never forget 2 years ago we were sitting here talking about Aaron Rodgers running out with the American flag on the anniversary of 9/11, and then he tears the Achilles for the Jets. And now here we are 2 years later, and he's a Steeler now.
In this game, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win. I just don't think the Jets have a shot at winning at this game, because Justin Fields, I think, will find a way to keep this offense afloat. But I think the Jets, I have a feeling they're going to get outplayed.
It's funny you mentioned the Justin Fields of it all. He played for the Steelers last year, and Rodgers played for the Jets last year, and then they basically switched teams.
So basically, I'm thinking the Jets are still going to get outplayed in this game.
I think the Jets lose this game as well. I think the Steelers are more equipped to win in a game like this. I know it's on the road, but the Steelers are just better than the Jets. I'm sorry.
Well, we talk about some late afternoon games. First up, an NFC West showdown in the Pacific Northwest. Oh, man, the 12s are going to be alive for the Seahawks and 49ers game. Both teams love to play each other with a classic battle. I think for the Niners, you're going to get a healthy Christian McCaffrey back. I know you don't have Deebo Samuel, but I think that Ayuk and Kittle will be enough for Brock Purdy. And I think the return of Robert Saleh being the defensive coordinator for the 49ers is going to do absolutely wonders for the 49ers and how their defense is going to be so much improved. I like the Niners in this football game.
I think the Niners bounce back. Last year was a very injury-plagued season for them. I think that they need to bounce back and do it the right way. What better way to do it than against your division rival? And I think we might see Brian Robinson incorporated in the offense in a pretty substantial role. I think Christian McCaffrey is the week 1 starter at running back, but I think Brian Robinson is your running back number 2 on the depth chart.
That's a good insurance policy if in case Christian McCaffrey gets hurt.
Absolutely.
And defensively for the Niners, the defense of the Niners was awful last year. I mean, the front wasn't the problem. It's their secondary that can't really cover receivers.
Yeah, and again, it had injuries was part of the problem last year with their secondary. But I think if they get all their guys healthy and they have the right coaching with Robert Saleh back at the defensive front of the controls, I think the Niners can plug and play this week, especially against Seattle. I don't know how I feel about, Sam Darnold trying to play week 1 after failing out the last 2 games of the regular season last year. But it's a brand new offense. Cooper Kupp's also on his team now. So that's gonna be interesting, but I think San Francisco.
I feel like Jalen Milroe is going to start this game. I'm just not really a believer in Sam Darnold.
We'll have to see what the Seattle Seahawks say when they release their depth charts.
Well, next up, this is the Cam Ward era in Tennessee. I mean, before we make our game pick here, I am very optimistic about this Tennessee Titan offense because it was boring with Tannehill and Henry, and then Will Levis just couldn't get it done. I have a feeling that Cam Ward is going to come in and he's going to make an impact right away with the Tennessee Titans.
I want to see what this kid can do because he's shown flashes of what he can do in preseason. In training camp, he's actually been very, very highly touted by coaches. I want to see what Brian Callahan can bring out of this kid. I think they're going to lose to the Broncos in week 1 in Denver, but I think that maybe he'll put up a good showing in his first performance.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been a history of number 1 picks losing in week 1, but Cam Ward is going to come in and show why he's the franchise quarterback in Tennessee. He's got weapons to throw it to like Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard at running back. You talk about that offense being good, but Tennessee's defense is going to be pretty decent too. But for Denver, I think they are ready to get better as the season goes on. And I think whatchamacallit, Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos are going to make a lot of noise heading into year 2. I still love what Bo Nix can do.
No, you're very high on the kid. And I think he's got the right coaching. I think Sean Payton's definitely the right guy to help him improve mechanically. But I think the Broncos defense got better with Pat Surtain being the man behind the secondary. I just like this Broncos team improving as the season goes on. Like you said, I love their running back room. Their running back room is going to be ridiculous this year.
It's going to be ridiculous. I mean, the Denver Broncos in years past were kind of the laughing stock of the NFL, but now Sean Payton has made it more relevant in Denver.
Yep.
But I like Denver winning this game. I think offensively, Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton are gonna lead the charge. Pat Surtain is gonna be great. I'm gonna have another decent game here. But the Denver Broncos are going to I think the Denver Broncos have already closed the gap on Kansas City and the Chargers.
I think Denver's a little bit of a way to go, but I think they're on the right track.
Well, man, you and I cannot wait to talk about this 125 Pacific time game. The Detroit Lions hosting the Green Bay Packers. The Detroit Lions going to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers on a beautiful September afternoon, which it's going to be no rain. It's going to be a mix of sun, people wearing short sleeves on a humid September day in Lambeau Field.
Yep.
But I know it's not December football because, when we get to December, we're going to love seeing cold weather football at Lambeau Field.
That's what separates men from boys, playing in cold weather in Green Bay.
But in this game, Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers are looking to continue to get better. And as for the Detroit Lions, I mean, even though they lost to the Commanders last year, they're getting everybody healthy. But in this game, I'm picking Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers to win this game. I just think Detroit's going to keep up with them, but I think Brandon McManus kicks a game-winning field goal.
I think it's a high-scoring affair between these two teams. I think that we've seen these two put up points against each other in the past. I know that not having Ben Johnson is going to be a problem for this Lions team, but I think they can still find a way to get it done. They have done it in the past, and plus they've owned Green Bay in the past recently. So I think the Lions win, but I think they win with a Jake Bates field goal.
Whoa. Are you saying you want the Lions to win because you still have belief in Dan Campbell?
I believe.
Because our friend Pat Rush from Colorcast, he was very skeptical about Dan Campbell being the head coach, but he ended up loving him.
Well, the opening press conference was not exactly was not exactly desirable, but he absolutely proved wonders since then.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like biting off kneecaps, playing hard and all that.
Yeah.
But the Detroit Lions are still a team that everybody's going to sleep on still.
Yeah, because they lost both their coordinators.
But Dan Campbell's going to make it work though.
He will. I think he will.
Well, down in LA, the Houston Texans and the LA Rams play each other. As for the Rams, we don't know if this is Matthew Stafford's last rodeo. We don't know that because I think Matthew Stafford keeps the Rams in games. And as for the Houston Texans, the CJ Stroud show and DeMeco Ryan show has been in existence since year in 23. But in this game, I'm going to pick the Houston Texans to win this game. I think the Rams can keep up with them, but I think the Rams, it's going to be too much for the Rams to play a team like the Houston Texans.
Honestly, whoever made this week 1 schedule deserves a round of applause because these are all really good matchups. Again, another tough one to call, but I'm probably going to say the Rams on this one. I think
Why the Rams? I like Houston in this one just because you gotta love what CJ Stroud does. You gotta love their young defense.
I do. I'm not disparaging the Houston Texans. I just think that Matthew Stafford, if this is his last year, he's going to go down swinging. He's going to go down with a fight. And I think to start the season off 1-0 against a really competent Texans team, which a lot of people like, I think that the Rams can do it. I'm very, very optimistic about Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua having a field day. And even though the Rams defense isn't what it used to be with Aaron Donald, I think they can get the job done in this situation.
You forgot one guy who's going to be a factor in that LA Rams defense is Davante Adams.
Right.
And Davante Adams, I think, is going to be a factor in that Rams defense.
Offense, yeah.
This Rams offense.
Yeah.
I think he will be because I think he will be because the Rams, I think, are going to be good offensively. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Kyren Williams, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Davante Adams. They still will get the job done.
Yeah, I love the way this Rams team works. That's why I'm thinking that they're going to win. The Texans have a lot to give. I think the Rams just come out on top.
Well, it's time to talk about those night games. Week 1, the Ravens and the Bills, a rematch of last year's divisional matchup. The first time, the Ravens, as you know, last year, Mark Andrews dropped a critical pass that he would like to take back.
Yeah, he'd want another shot at that.
And for the Bills, Josh Allen comes into this season as the reigning NFL MVP. We already know how good Buffalo is on both sides of the football, and Josh Allen. In this game, I'm going to pick the Ravens because I just feel like that when they fell short to the Bills in the playoffs last year, they basically were like, oh, if we're going to play Buffalo week 1, we want to come into Buffalo knowing that we want to win.
You know what? Again, another close call. But I'll say Baltimore. I just like the Derrick Henry aspect of it all. I think that Lamar and Derrick Henry are going to run all over the Bills' front four. I just like this. I like the Ravens here. And like you said, vengeance is going to be so sweet. If the Ravens can win this one, I think they'll get it.
If they win in the final week 1 game at Highmark Stadium.
Right.
Because I know that this is the last year the Buffalo Bills will be playing at this Highmark Stadium. And I know they have a new stadium coming next year. And I know that everybody, I think that Buffalo's going to want to make sure that they go out with a bang in their final season playing at the old Highmark Stadium, but the new one has a little bit of a roof on it.
Yeah, that's true.
But it could still snow inside. You never know. But like I said, you and I both like the Baltimore Ravens in this one.
Yes.
Well, Monday Night Football in Chicago. Oh, boy. a new era in Chicago with Ben Johnson as he's the new head coach of the Chicago Bears, going up against my guy J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. This is a tough call for me because part of me thinks Chicago wants to go out with a bang in week 1 to give Ben Johnson his first head coaching win. And I think it's going to be a great new era for Chicago football because I think the Bears are going to be better coached with Ben Johnson.
For all the talk the Bears have been saying about Ben Johnson helping out Caleb Williams during training camp, this is the test. This is the first test for Ben Johnson. If Caleb Williams improved so much in the offseason, put it to work now because this is the perfect time to unleash what Caleb Williams has put in over the offseason.
I think this is going to be a very close game. And with that being said, I'm picking J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings to come away with a narrow victory at Soldier Field.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to pick the Chicago Bears. I'm optimistic. I mean, Caleb Williams, I think he'll throw for 4,000 yards. No Bears quarterback has ever done that in their franchise history. And I think in order for him to actually do that, he needs to get off to a good start. And I think this is the perfect time to, unleash the beast, if you will, of what Caleb Williams was like in USC. And Ben Johnson is a really good commodity, as we've seen in the offseason. And I like the Bears.
And you like the Bears because you think that you like the Bears because whatchamacallit?
Ben Johnson.
Because of Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And I think I mean it would not surprise me if the Chicago Bears got this win because if you talk about the Bears last year, I felt like Caleb Williams had some good and bad moments, but it was Matt Eberflus that just ruined the Bears.
Well, Matt Eberflus was detrimental from the beginning. He was not competent play calling. He was not a leader of men. He was a fool's gold, if you will. He never really took accountability for his actions. He cost the Bears a handful of games. And the worst part is the Bears just depleted themselves after those losses.
I think this year is going to be so much better because if you look at it, Ben Johnson, I think, is going to change the culture in Chicago. He's going to do a great job working with Caleb Williams because I knew that when he got the job in Chicago, I knew he wanted to work with Caleb Williams.
And now here he is. He's got what he wants.
One of the matchups I'm looking forward to in the Bears I'm looking forward to when the Bears and the Lions play.
Yeah, it's funny. They play in week 2 in Detroit.
And that's a game I can't wait to talk to you about next week.
Oh, next week's going to be fun when we talk about that.
I meant our week 2 picks will be after week 1's over.
Right. My bad.
But when we talk about our week 2 games, that's going to be one of the games that we got to highlight. Johnson versus Campbell.
Yep.
Because I think that the Chicago Bears, they're a team that I think people are going to be like, we can take them seriously now.
Yeah, honestly, if the Bears pull off the upset in week 2, then that would be a big momentum booster for the Bears.
Well, that being said, here now we'll talk about us. We'll kind of break down the NBA schedule. Oh, my bad. We'll talk about college football here. So the first game you wanted to talk about here, our only week 0 game that we're going to predict is the Ireland game.
Mm-hmm.
If you can tell us what that is.
So, all right. So every year to begin the college football season, there's always 2 teams in Ireland. Typically, it's Notre Dame versus one other person, or one other team rather. Usually, it could be Navy, it could be Army, but Notre Dame's always in it. But this is the first year where Notre Dame is not in it. Instead, it'll be a battle of 2 Big 12 teams, Iowa State and Kansas State.
Iowa State and Kansas State. Who do I like in this one? I am going to pick Kansas State.
I'm going to go with the Cyclones. There's something about this team that really makes me excited about them this year. So I'll have to pick Iowa State.
Was that?
I'll pick Iowa State this year.
And why do you pick Iowa State and Matt Campbell?
Because there's something about this team, especially at the quarterback position. I just like where this team is going. And Iowa State almost made the Big 12 championship, or they made the Big 12 championship last year, and they lost to Arizona State. There's just something about this team that will give me optimism for when they play this year in 2025.
Well, now we talk about our week one picks. But before we talk about our week one picks, Lee Corso hangs up his microphone after next week. Isn't his last college football game day show going to be a legendary one? I know you're crying because Lee Corso has been a staple of that show.
He has. He has. Honestly, we talked about this before we came on. No one brings the energy and passion and enthusiasm that Lee Corso brings. And I'm glad that College Game Day is giving him one more show to actually, relish in before he calls it. And think of it, Loro, he's going to be retiring at the age of 90. 90.
That's an old age. I mean,
that's ridiculous to retire at the age of 90. But that just shows how much he loves the sport. He loves his craft. He loves what he's been doing. And I think that Kirk Herbstreit's going to be probably crying a river after the show is over because he loves him. The whole crew loves him. But Kirk Herbstreit has always been sitting to Lee Corso's right side and just taking it in.
Yeah, Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit sitting right next to each other in those shows. And I'll tell you, Kirk Herbstreit and Lee Corso are, I think Kirk Herbstreit's going to miss him. Like, there's a picture right here. If you can't see it.
Oh, my God.
Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit.
That's so nice.
Because, Kirk Herbstreit currently, he does both Thursday Night Football and Prime with Al Michaels, and now he still is buddies with Lee Corso with college football.
Yeah, that's a good gig.
But I think this is going to be a fun show. But for our week one picks, tell us the week one games that we got. I mean, the first game I want to talk about here is North Carolina, TCU, Bill Belichick's North Carolina debut. I think in this particular matchup, I'm just ready to. I want to see Bill Belichick coach these kids. I think North Carolina football is going to be in a better place.
It's funny you mentioned that because that was one of the first games I was going to talk about. North Carolina TCU on Monday, September 1st, which is Labor Day, by the way. That's a game where the spotlight's going to be all on the Tar Heels. Whether Bill Belichick still got it at the age of 74, whether he coached this team to perfection over the offseason, whether the recruiting actually worked. And TCU is not a terrible team. So this is going to be a real test. I'll take North Carolina for the upset because TCU is the favorite by 3.5 points. I'll take North Carolina because there's something in me that just wants to pick the Tar Heels.
I want to pick North Carolina too. I just think Bill Belichick is going to make such an impact for those kids. I know he's 74. The guy is still very strong for his age. He's a guy that I think just loves football.
Yeah, he does. He's very smart at it too.
And he knows how to coach the game, like leading my team in the Patriots to 6 Super Bowls.
Correct.
And all that. I think coming into North Carolina, I think he's going to do wonders for that program.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's gonna be a fun ride to see how Bill Belichick does. But we got a bunch of other games. We're gonna start off with before we get into the Texas versus Ohio State game. Let's get into Loro's team. This is Alabama, year 2 of the Kalen DeBoer era, kicking off against the Florida State Seminoles.
Ooh, man. Florida State always starts off the season good, but they tend to choke towards the end.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident that this is going to be a much better year for Alabama. I like Alabama in this game.
I like Alabama too. Next up, we got – oh, God, this is a bad one. The Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Marshall Green Herd.
Who wants to watch that game or talk about that game? Nobody. Georgia's going to win this game pretty handedly.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not going to be even close after the first half.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got actually an interesting one. We got Clemson versus LSU. Clemson's a 4-point
That's a
favorite.
good game to talk about. Dabo versus Brian Kelly. I'm picking LSU.
I'm picking LSU as well. I think that the ACC conference is taking a step backwards, and Clemson's the head of it, but I like LSU a lot.
Well, I want to talk about Ohio State versus Texas. I mean,
Okay.
I really think that game's going to be good. I mean, I want to see how Ohio State can start after being the defending national champions.
I like what we're talking about this because Texas is going to be a hot commodity this year because they got probably the biggest quarterback in the nation in Arch Manning. He's going to be starting his first full year. But Ohio State being the defending champions, and they got a phenomenal receiving core. That should be fun. And I think that Ohio State coming off a pressure-filled situation, they beat Notre Dame in the national title game. That should be a big test for them and a big tone setter.
I think in this game, I'm picking Texas with Arch Manning.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go Ohio State. I don't know who their quarterback is going to be this year, but I know Jeremiah Smith is one of the best receivers, and Ryan Day has coached this team very, very, very well in the past.
Everybody criticizes Ryan Day. I think he's still the most criticized head coach in college football.
Yeah, that guy gets a lot of scrutiny, but now it's not deserved since he won a national title.
He basically silenced all the doubters and all the critics.
Yeah, it's honestly good to see.
But what is the next game we should discuss?
Okay. All right. Next up, we got Penn State versus Nevada. Penn State, a 45.5-point favorite.
I'm actually going to pick James Franklin and Penn State here. I think that the Nittany Lions, they're a team that is also under scrutiny. I think that the Nittany Lions are going to win this game.
I like Penn State to win the Big Ten. I think Ohio State's going to beat Texas, but I think that Penn State can win the Big Ten. And when they do face Ohio State, I think it's going to be the game to watch.
It might be the game to watch, but the date for here's what I have for you.
Okay.
Lee Corso's final college game day appearance will be on Saturday, August 30th, and it's going to be at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, at the site of where Ohio State hosts Texas.
Wow.
So that's where he's going to have his final game day when College Game Day travels to every college stadium, and the first one is going to be at Ohio Stadium.
That's at the Shoe.
At the Shoe, is that what you said?
Yep, because that's what they call their stadium in Ohio State.
Oh yeah, on the campus of University of Ohio.
Yeah. All right. So we got a couple more games that we'll go over since there's so many. This one I actually want to talk about. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the runner-ups for the national championship game last year, will take on a newly looked Carson Beck-led Miami Hurricanes team.
Ooh, man, I love Mario Cristobal, but I think Notre Dame is also very good too. But I'm going to pick Notre Dame in this one. But I like Cristobal. I think the Miami Hurricanes are a very good team.
You know, the Carson Beck of it all is actually very interesting because Carson Beck had his opportunity with Georgia, and then he got injured. Unfortunately, he never finished his time there. I like Notre Dame a lot, and I think Marcus Freeman will outcoach Mario Cristobal.
That is going to be something here. But with that being said here now, the next, I think we won't, that'll be kind of the end of here, but of the college football games here. But now the NBA schedule, I mean, you talk about the Lakers playing Golden State to start the year. Which NBA opening week game and Christmas Day game are you looking forward to?
So that's a good question. My favorite NBA game that I'm actually looking forward to, believe it or not, is actually on Christmas Day when the Cleveland Cavaliers travel to Madison Square Garden to take on the Knicks.
Oh, that is going to be a fun game. But I don't know if I'm going to watch NBA on Christmas Day. I would only watch it if the Lakers play, and then after that, then I'll go to football.
That's fine. That's fair. So the reason why I want to go out, why I'm saying this game is because of one thing. With the Celtics losing Jason Tatum and the Pacers losing Tyrese Halliburton, you're figuring that the Cavaliers and Knicks will be the top two teams in the Eastern Conference. And I think these two teams are going to go be tooth and nail all season long. And what better way to showcase your primetime skills and your primetime clutch ability and being good under pressure than performing on Christmas Day in the Garden? And I know it's going to be a new regime. I know that the Knicks got a new regime and head coach, but I think that the Knicks can probably walk out with that one. But that's just me.
No, I mean, you got it. We talked about Mike Brown and being the head coach of the New York Knicks. I think that Mike Brown is actually going to make such an impact on the New York Knicks. I think he's going to be a better fit for them than Tom Thibodeau is.
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau, unfortunately, his biggest problem was he exhausted his bench, and it cost him a lot of games.
And I think with Mike Brown, he's going to sustain that. But looking at the Lakers' schedule here, not only we play Golden State on Tuesday, that's a game I'm looking forward to, LeBron versus Curry, but I want to get revenge on Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. I bet so, because the Minnesota kind of mopped the floor with you in the playoffs last year.
They sure did. They basically beat us in 5 as a 6 seed, which was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, not good.
But for Christmas Day, the Lakers, let me tell you who they take on. They take on the Houston Rockets and Kevin Durant. I'm telling you, that is going to be – I think that's going to be a great ball game.
I think it's going to be a really solid game, too. The Rockets were the 2 seed last year in the Western Conference. LeBron's still chasing that one last title before he retires, and I know he's itching to get one more. I know he keeps saying he's got one more year left. I think it's not going to be until he wins a title.
Well, anyways, now let's talk about some baseball here. The first subject we should talk about here is Rob Manfred recently talking about a potential expansion. I don't think it's going to happen now. I don't think it's going to happen next year. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But this expansion idea, I'm open to it, but I'm just not in favor of it.
Well, the expansion comes from the fact that there are 4 locations across the world, across the United States, that want a baseball team. Charlotte, North Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee, Portland, Oregon, and Salt Lake City, Utah. Those are the 4 locations that they're looking to bring baseball into as far as bringing a professional Major League Baseball team. Realistically, for an expansion to happen, they would need to make 2 of those possibilities come true. Now, whether or not that's going to happen, I'm not too sure. Now, the reason why we're talking about expansion is because during the Little League Classic, there's been headlines from Jim Bowden about what new divisions could look like.
I've been looking at that too, and I don't really like the Jim Bowden thing.
Yeah, the Jim Bowden, there are some proposals that I like, and there are some that I don't like. The Jim Bowden one, I wasn't really too fond of.
Same here. I just don't want the Giants to be not in the same division as the Dodgers. That's my only concern here.
I understand that. And, one thing I will say is that, people don't want both New York teams in the same division.
Nobody does.
People don't want both Chicago teams in the same division.
Nobody wants both Chicago teams in the same division. No one wants the both New York teams or the Phillies in the same division as the Mets or the Yankees.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the north, south, east, and west alignment.
I like that. It's kind of like an NFL style thing, but it's actually more appropriate. You keep the teams in the conference of the AL and NL the same, but you just realign them.
Because Rob Manfred is also open to realignment, but I'm like, if you realign, I'm hoping it's not an overboard of a realignment.
That's what I'm hoping for. Sometimes Rob Manfred can go overboard, and I know that Rob Manfred has a tendency to go above and beyond what the normal capability thinking is. Whether or not this happens now or in the near future, it really depends on what Rob Manfred plans to do these final few years before he leaves.
We don't know when expansion's going to come. We just don't know that answer for everybody.
Yeah, but that's a great point.
I kind of hope they do the north. I'm looking at the Trevor Plouffe realignment. I like the Pacific, Southwest, Mountain, and Midwest type of setup.
Right.
But the Pacific setup I like is the Angels, Dodgers, Giants, Padres. I'm like, you know what? That's the setup I would be okay with.
I'm fine with that. That's what I'm okay with.
I just don't like the Jim Bowden proposal. I just don't see Major League Baseball realigning or expanding anytime soon.
I think the problem with the Bowden one was Bowden went extreme. He went above and beyond. Like half the teams switched conferences in Bowden's proposal.
And Howie Rose was not a fan of it. Like, and then I just saw a different idea here. For the if you look at this here, we just talked about the NFL style division thing. Like the NL West could be Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Dodgers, Padres, Angels, Giants in the National League West. I like that.
Same. I'm all for that.
And then in the National League South, you got the Rays, the Braves, Nashville, don't know their team name, and Miami.
Well, the reason why it's just Nashville is because we don't have an official Nashville team in Major League Baseball yet, and I don't know what teams are going to come first. That's the big question.
And then in the National League North, you got the Cubs, Brewers, Reds, Cardinals. I'm in favor of that.
Yeah, like that I like. That proposal I like.
And then in the National League East, you put the Pirates back there, and then the Orioles, the Guardians, and the Nationals. And I'm like, Pittsburgh and Washington are not good. Cleveland, I think they're decent.
They're competent. They're a competent baseball team.
But that revamped NL East is going to be that's weak.
Yeah.
And then in the American League East, fans won't like this. Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies.
Yeah, that's a little overboard. That's a little overboard.
Like the Mets and the Yankees will be fighting for that division every year.
Yeah, the Yankees and Mets would be fighting for that division. I mean, the Red Sox and Yankees wouldn't be really a rivalry anymore.
And then in the American League North, you got the Jays, the Sox, the Tigers, and the Twins. I think the Detroit Tigers are probably the best team in that division too.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
And Toronto is no one can count out Toronto.
Yeah.
And then in the American League South, Texas Rangers, Houston Astros, Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Kansas City Royals. I like that setup too.
That's a good setup. Yeah, I like that.
And then in the American League West, the Seattle Mariners, the Colorado Rockies switching from the NL West to the AL West.
Yeah.
And then the Vegas A's, and then Portland.
Whoever they are at the time, if there is Portland. But yes.
So I think this is the setup that I'm in favor of over the other setups.
Yeah, that setup that you went over is actually good. The one with the two New York teams and the Red Sox and the Phillies, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, that division's good. That's probably not good here. But the Dodgers, after splitting with the Colorado Rockies, which I think was uncalled for, they're playing another series with the San Diego Padres down in San Diego as we speak. And I tell you, the Dodgers, they're looking to put this division away. I think they will. I think they'll have another sweep of the Padres.
Well, one thing you've proven is that you own the Padres. You're 8-2 against them this year, which is a complete flip of the script from last regular season. Last regular season, the Dodgers were owned by the Padres. Now the Dodgers own them. So it's a good flip of the script. The Dodgers still have a lot of work to do if they want to get that 2 seed in the NL. Because right now you look at the NL number 1 seed, it's owned by Milwaukee pretty clearly. And obviously there's still a lot of games to go, but Milwaukee's looking really good. Chicago's looking really good. The Dodgers look like they can win the division, if not absolutely get a wild card. Philly's looking all right. And the Mets, I don't know what's going to happen in that final wild card spot. That's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, here's the thing here. The Dodgers will be playing the Reds in this next homestand that they have.
Yeah.
But I also think that the Dodgers, I think they'll sweep San Diego. But for the Yankees, after winning the 2 games in Tampa, I mean, they've been playing better baseball as of late, but they lost.
They have.
But they had a bad loss to the Boston Red Sox on Thursday.
Boston owns us.
Why do you think Boston owns you guys?
Because their new prospects like Roman Anthony has been incredible. Their pitching staff has been obsolete when it comes to the Yankees. It's this whole big rivalry, and I think that's what drives them to want to beat us. And the problem is, Loro, that if the Yankees and Red Sox were to play each other in the wild card, which is highly likely at this point, the Yankees would probably lose that series because the Red Sox know when to show up against us, and Aaron Boone just doesn't have answers for them, unfortunately.
And why do you think Aaron Boone doesn't have answers for the Boston Red Sox?
Because we've tried everything. We've gotten a golden sombrero at the expense of Alex Bregman. They traded Rafael Devers away, and yet Boston still owns us. It's the problem.
And you think it's the problem because you think that whatchamacallit? And you think it's the problem because you think it's the problem because Aaron Boone has gotten outplayed there. But I also sent you another tweet if you look at it.
Yep, I just got it.
From Ben Verlander. That's when I saw that, I was like, that's another good setup too by Ben Verlander. But I'm just not a fan of the whatchamacallit, the Jim Bowden setup.
Yeah, the Bowden setup was not great at all. But this setup I like. I want to go over this briefly if I may.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm all for the NL East with the Pirates, Mets, Phillies, and Braves. I'm all for that. The AL North, same thing with the Tigers, Guardians, Blue Jays, and Sox. Here's where I have a problem. The Red Sox, Orioles, Yankees, and Nationals in the same division.
Wow. Like, you got both Orioles and Nationals in the same division and put the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the NL East?
Yeah, that I'm not okay with. And here's why.
I don't think the AL and NL will get completely eliminated with expansion.
No, it wouldn't.
You just add two more teams.
Just add two more teams and then do a 4-division format for each league.
That's what I think too. I like this setup. I would want to do this setup too. But
I honestly I'm all in favor of this setup. And you want to know why? It's because if you're a last place team, at least you're not down in the dumps. Like for instance, if you're looking at the NL West now and you see the fact that the Rockies are in last place by 45 games, it's embarrassing to be in last place by that much. Like at least if you're in a last place division setup, at least you're not terribly in the dumps.
Oh, absolutely. But anyways, Matt, that's going to do it here for this show. The next show will be in a few weeks when we talk about week 2. Have a good night.
Take care, everybody.
Well, in my show league, I'm not.